Sorry about that, folks. Battery went dead. Anyway, I was telling you about the story between me and my dad. I was getting up on the cellar, and he done warned me about shooting the doe because it was first day of season. He was supposed to take the buck first part of the season, and we had a bet that it would be a buck, and which one of us, me or Rick Bibles, would get the buck first. Well, that morning I had barely got up on the cellar. My dad was walking up to his deer stand, and he just set one foot in the stirrup, and he heard my rifle crack. Boy, he was saying some more unchoice words, because he just knew I'd killed me a fat doe. Here he'd come, down the road in a hurry, come back down there. What have you shot, boy? And I said, I shot a buck about 100 yards out there. It's a buck. Came up a little draw, and it came up out there. And I just threw that 308 up on him and nailed him. See, that's my favorite rifle. 308 is my favorite weapon in the world. I mean, I've used a lot of different ones, but 44s and the brush is all right. Shotgun's fine in the brushland, but out there on them wheat fields where I was, I needed a long-range rifle there. And that's when I used the 308s. They will reach out and touch. We loaded our own ammo in them days too. But anyway, I'll not get into that. But we went out there. He said, if that's a doe, boy, I'm going to kick your butt and you can load the deer yourself. We got out there and it was a buck. Biggest buck I ever killed. 187 pounds field dress. It's 167 pounds field dress, pardon me. When we got him to the checkout point, because I had a tag, I was hunting legal. It's just that, and back then, at the last part of the season, you could take a doe or a buck with the same tag. I don't know how it is now. That's in Oklahoma. Now, I don't know if it's the same way anymore, because heck, they change the laws on me all the time. I don't know. But I'd have to find out before I'd go hunting now, because I'm smarter than that. I know they'll treat you like a top criminal if you kill a darn deer now. Take your truck, impound your doggone deer, won't be just a fine. Back then, I think it was just a fine, but now it's worse. They'll impound your truck and treat you like you're a drug lord. Take your guns, arrest you, harass you around over killing a deer. It's a sad day, man. But anyway, that's just my opinion of it. You paid to hunt, you already had the hunting license you paid for, then you turn around and pay for a tag. It shouldn't matter whether it's a doe or a buck. Where we was at, there was deer that run as high as, I counted 80 head one time, and one herd out there just eating on them wheat fields up there off that Kansas line. Now that's a big bunch of deer, folks. You won't find that in the hills that many like that. But these were big fat deer raised off good wholesome grain, wheat. Man, they were good. I just soon have deer as beef sometimes. Now don't get me wrong, I like a beef steak too, if I can get a good one. Don't like this store-bought stuff that they're selling now. Man, it's tougher than a rubber boot. The cheap stuff is, if there is any cheap. And it's expensive. I'm about to get some chili cooked up here, starting to thicken up now. Oh yeah, it's going to be good. So to finish up that deer hunting story, we loaded that deer up with a come-along. Me and Dad took all me and my daddy could do, me with a busted knee. You can just picture this, and Dad with a bad back, and we're trying to load this deer. We got it loaded, gutted, and headed over to the checkout place. And there was a game ranger then by the name of Keith Green checked it in. Told me to get out and help unload it, and I said, I can't. He said, why can't you? I said, because I got a busted knee. I said, it's your job to unload him. I said, the way I look at him, weigh it. I hold him over here so you could weigh him. I said, me and Paul done all we could do just to load that thing. Well, while we was there, getting that thing weighed and unloaded and everything, here come a couple old boys from Chicago, I believe, somewhere upstate anyhow. They've been hunting mule deer, they claim. They shot old Lloyd Bible's registered white mules, what they done. Oh man, here they are, and they don't know it. Game ranger said nothing to them. He just went out there, hooked onto it, weighed him, said, yeah, that's about an 800-900 pound mule. Said, yeah, that's a big, nice mule deer, all right. And he said, boys, that'll be about $2,500, because he said, boys, you ain't killed no mule deer. You killed Lloyd Bible's mule, and he ain't done with you with his part yet. I bet the longer they chewed on that mule, the more expensive he got. $2,500 fine from the state. And I don't know what Lloyd charged them for that mule, because it was a registered white mule, registered jack that they had gone and killed. In this long Lloyd Bibles had a lot of land and lots of money, but they worked hard for what they had. I'll say that for the Bibles. They did. They were hard-working farmers, and they worked hard year-round, and they did coal mining and worked hard works. And I think Rick's still doing dairying. His daddy was a farmer and had some beef cattle. But they had a lot of land up there. He was, which Kenneth Bible, Rick Bible's daddy, was the president of FHA at one time up there. But anyhow, I bet them old boys chewing on Lloyd Bible's deer, I bet they were about to choke him down paying that kind of price for a mule deer. You know, at least I would want to know what my quarry was if I was going after it. I wouldn't go out there and just kill anything. I've had people pull up in my horse pasture out by the road. Whenever I had horses, we had 10 head of horses and 50 head of cows at one time in a bull. But anyway, we had this goat. He was brown and white. He'd had a tree fall on him. And he was crippled in the back end. He had to hop around. But I'm going to tell you something about goats. I found out that having that goat with my horses, out of all the years we had horses, colts or anything, never had the stimper in them. Now, I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but we never had a horse down with a stimper or a collar or any of that stuff. Or colic, you know, they didn't colic, they didn't have that problem. Well, now, if you rode a horse hot and rode him in there and you let him water, drink all he wants, you could founder him. I wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying, colic him, but I'm saying, for his colds and flus or pneumonia, our horses didn't have it, never. And I'll tell you something else, for a lot of years I rode horses bareback and no shoes. Sometimes we rode them up there on that limestone prairie and never had a horse lame, Indian style. I broke horses Indian style out of a pond. That's how I broke most of our colts, and never had them give us too much trouble, never had them buck, and if they did buck, they'd just throw you there in the pond. It ain't like you handing on a lot of hard ground. Now, when I was a kid, we had riding a lot, and I got piled on that old hard ground and was plowed up. That's what we rode in a lot at Bushy Head. Bushy Head, Oklahoma is where I was grew up at, but my father bought a place in Craig County, and he had 3 ponds. So we'd take the colts down to the pond, and what we did, when there was a 3-year-old, 2.5, 3-year-old, we'd start working with them. By the time it was 3, we had them broke out. We'd take them down there with the broke horse and lead them off into the pond. And I'd just jump over on that colt and ride him, and I wouldn't let him out of that pond till he was tired, till that horse just about tired to come out. The only way you could actually get hurt breaking a horse in a pond would be if you let him get to the other side and he was to get on the bank and pitch you and kick you in the head coming out of the pond. Or if there was water moccasin in there, they could make a swarm and bite you and the horse to death during mating season. They get a little crazy up there May to June. But we kept them shot out of our pond pretty much. There wasn't that many water moccasin when I got done. We made good sport of them and turtles and other things. That was our favorite thing. I had an old 22 H&R single shot Stevenson rifle. It didn't have no sights on it, and I was shooting anything that could move. And I got good with that thing up there, just shooting, you know, without sights. One day my uncle come up there shooting with me. He had a 22 bolt action rifle, but his had sights. Mine didn't. I shot straight down that bore, and wherever the snake was moving, I shot right in front of him, killed him every darn time. Took his head clean off. Biggest part of the time I never missed. What I did when I was a kid, I had an old Crossman air rifle. For one of my first guns I had was a pellet rifle. And what I did, I took and put a 22 scope on it. And I went out there and I was shooting locusts and wasps and stuff like that out of trees. Now, when you get good enough, you're hitting stuff like that, even in the sun. You don't every time. I'm not saying I hit them every time, no. I'm just saying that I got to where I can hit anything that moves. If it moves, I can still hit it. Even pistols, shotguns, rifles, I got good. till my vision went bad on me, the blood pressure. But I can still hit stuff that moves. But I have a hard time shooting something that's sitting still. You know, like that old cardboard box I was shooting out there. If that deer had been moving, it'd been mine. I'd have shot that sucker, no problem. I've shot squirrels out of trees with that gum bows and arrows. But he has to be moving. I hate for him to be sitting because I'll hit that tree limb. When he's moving, I'm going to shoot into the movement right just in front of him and generally drops him. Generally get the arrow right through him. No problem. But it's been a while since I've hunted anything with a bow, shotgun, or rifle or otherwise. Right now, I've been out driving around in the back roads, and on the roadsides, I don't see any signs of rabbits or rats. No rat signs, no rabbits down here. There may be, but I'm not seeing any. No sign of it. I'm going to wait till it snows, and I'm going to take that four-wheel drive truck I got, and I'm going to drive down the back road somewhere, and I'm going to take a look around and see if I can see any sign of rabbit. I haven't seen any rabbits out there in a long time. My cousin, he runs a mail route, and he's been driving the back roads all the way to Monroe, from Poto to Monroe out there. I imagine it's probably 15 to 20 miles of back roads that he goes on, and he runs a route that has, I think, a 100-mile route altogether, but 15, 20 miles of back roads, and he don't see no rabbits nowhere. He told me he's only seen maybe 10 in the whole year. He was running some over back of Kavanaugh when he was working over at Shady Point, but he don't work over there no more. He's working in Poto now and driving a route over here. He's a temporary mail carrier. I've helped him run it a few times. The one over by Shady Point route, I did that when we did the Calhoun route, and it's all mud back roads. The biggest part of that is, and it was a 5-hour run. You drove 5 hours and delivered mail in mud and water. And you had to get around, and I mean, you couldn't move over 40 miles an hour, but you just kept moving. We went through goat trails and stuff where he couldn't even go with his car. He had front wheel drive, and he went a lot of times down there to them old places in the country, delivering packages and stuff. But when it's muddy and wet, you can't get in there. I guess yeah, I think I'm still recording. Okay. My chili's about done, my coffee's ready, so I guess I'm going to shut her off for the night. I thank you for tuning in to TV's Suvival Cabin. I'm about to have me some good old deer chili for chowing tonight and give it a good try. Looks like it's going to be all right. Smells pretty good. Thank you, folks. Hope you enjoyed this session with TV. Good night.